Hi, I'm Sam from the Naval Undersea Warfare Center at Keyport in Washington State. At Keyport, we repair and build torpedoes and unmanned underwater vehicles. Today, we're going to be building a hydraulic claw using materials that we obtained from teachergeek.com. Within the kit, there's a handout, and on page 3, there are a set of options or designs that you can do or follow along with to build your hydraulic claw. You'll notice there are 3 options. The first one is the accordion. This middle one is the chopstick version, and the last one is the pincher version. I would highly recommend that for your first design or iteration that you choose one of these particular designs, and there are instructions in the handout that walk you through how to make each one. Okay, before we start building our own hydraulic claw, let's talk about hydraulic systems. The word hydro typically means water, but most hydraulic systems contain another fluid, such as a hydraulic fluid or oil. And the reason for that is because water and metal typically do not get along well together. Water tends to make metal rust and deteriorate. Hydraulics are used in many applications, such as dump trucks, cranes, or even in our automobiles in the brake systems. When we push our brake system, we are pressurizing a fluid which compresses the brake disc, and we're able to stop a 5,000 pound plus vehicle relatively quickly. A hydraulic system usually incorporates a piston which pressurizes fluid into a cylinder. So the first thing that we're going to demonstrate is I'm going to show you how to set up your hydraulic system. And for that, I have a cup of water that is dyed red. You do not need to dye your water. The only reason mine is dyed is so that you can see the flow or transfer of fluids. And so we also have a section of 1/8 inch flexible clear tubing and 2 syringes. So I'm going to start with the plunger on each syringe. The plunger is this part right here that goes in and out of the cylinder, pushed all the way in. I'm going to take one of the syringes and place the end in the water and pull the plunger all the way out so that now the cylinder is full of water. I'm going to take one end of the flexible tubing and attach it to the end of the syringe. And it may take some force to push it all the way on there. You might have to move it back and forth to get it fully attached. And it's important that you get that fully attached so that when you go to use your hydraulic claw, you don't want this tubing popping off of there and then getting water everywhere. And that's also another reason why you'll want to do this in an area where nothing can get damaged by water, such as electronics. Okay, so once you have that end of the tubing attached, you want to place the other end in your cup of water. Press the plunger all the way in, and so that now the air has been pushed out of the tubing and the tubing is now full of water. So while leaving that end of the tubing in the cup, you want to pull your plunger all the way out. And so now both your cylinder and tubing are full of water. You don't want to have too much air trapped in your hydraulic system. Otherwise, it's not going to work well. If you get a few bubbles trapped in there, that's okay. But if you get too much, what you can do is you can cycle the water in and out of your system by just pressing in the plunger and pulling it back out. So if you get too much air, to kind of give you an idea of how air works, this particular hydraulic setup is full of air. There's no water in it. What will happen is you can easily hold this one down while depressing this. And see, that one is not wanting to go up, or it will, but with a delay. And that's because air is compressible, whereas water is not. Okay, so Now that the tube and syringe are full of water, we're going to attach the other end of the tubing to the other syringe. Same thing, you're going to have to force it on there a bit, maybe work it back and forth. And once that is fully attached, your hydraulic system for your claw is complete. So when I push on one plunger, the other one easily goes out, and that's how you're going to operate your claw. So you're going to use one plunger on one end of your claw to open and close it, and the other end is going to be used to operate it, okay? So you'll notice on your syringe, you have these extrusions here that are attachment points for some of the other pieces that are in your kit. For example, these plastic dowels. They have lots of holes in them that are designed to attach to these protrusions on the base of your syringe. And they also match the holes that are in the handle of your plunger. So you'll notice that we can attach this piece and it can still rotate freely. So when you go to attach your plungers to your claw, or one of your syringe and plungers to your claw, you'll want to use these attachment points or the holes in the plunger to attach it to the rest of your claw. So in your kit, you have screws in order to attach pieces together, but those screws can be pretty difficult to use to attach pieces without a tool. So I prefer to use these small brass brads. They're not included in the kit, but you can get them at a standard stationery store. And these things are much easier to use when attaching various pieces together, such as these two plastic dowels. And you can use a brass brad to attach them by simply pushing the legs of the brass brad through two holes of the pieces, one hole of each piece, and then pulling the legs apart, like so. And that holds it on there nicely while also allowing the pieces to move freely. You can also use, if you'd like, twist ties. Twist ties are very easy to put on and take off. They can be used to hold things together temporarily while you're putting other pieces together. And the kit also comes with small zip ties. These zip ties are great for holding things together more securely because they're very strong, but the only way that you're going to get them off is by cutting them, and then they can't be reused. For some of these hydraulic claw designs, you may find that you'll need to shorten one of these plastic dowels in order to make it work for your design. And to do that, you simply only need to snap it at the length that you need it for your design or build. You can do that by bending it until it breaks apart, just like that. Make sure though that before you break it, that you know exactly how long you need it to be, so that you do not break it and then find that you do not have enough materials in order to build your hydraulic claw. So like I mentioned before, there are 3 different design options in your kit for you to choose from. And I highly recommend that you choose one of these when you do your first design and your first build. There are instructions in here that tell you exactly how to do that. And if you'll notice, or if you look closely, you'll notice that there are different attachments on each of these designs. For the first one, the accordion, it shows some bottle caps. The second one, plastic spoon and fork. And for the third one are a set of cups. You can use these items if you choose, or you can possibly look for materials in your home that are designated for recycling and use those as well. Much like an excavator, your claw may need different attachments in order to do the work. When you go to build your claw, I challenge you to build it such that you can pick up a marker or a pen or something similarly shaped, or perhaps one of your small favorite stuffed toys, like this octopus here. So you may notice that you need different attachments in order to pick up this marker than you would need in order to pick up a small stuffed toy. I have here a completed design of the pincher option. And give you an idea how it works. When you pull the plunger in and out of this top syringe, the business piece of the claw is opening and closing. We've also included a string here to provide some strain relief, and so that we're not tugging at this clear plastic tubing and potentially causing that to pop off. So instead, the force is being applied to the string as we operate it or hold it up. Okay, and that is the hydraulic claw. I hope you've enjoyed building it with us today, and we'll see you for the next activity.